Gregory Maxwell Dunn, and this is one of my newest creations made by Well Done Designs. I call this the Skate Plane Fan. Check it out. Fully functionable to sit at your office desk to cool you off on a hot summer day. More soon to come. Thanks for looking. I don't really have anything cut out at the moment. But actually, maybe if I just open this garage door real quick. This is pretty much how I cut out parts. A little rough side, and I got the currency a little too high, but that's pretty much the beginning of the Skate Plane Fan.
Well, Max's growing up, he did have difficulties as far as school.
He was never great with school because of his, he's dyslexic.
So we went and we had him tested, and we found he had an auditory decoding problem, but at the same time we found out that he was borderline genius in his visual perception and his abilities.
Because it's not really sort of a stellar academic or anything. He hasn't finished high school. But I see a brilliance with Greg. He's got a sort of a creative way of looking at things.
The way I find Greg's work is that he actually will take an idea from his own mind and relate it to art, and then, take that, take what he has in his mind and appropriate it to a canvas.
Because he's painting from his mind's eye, like there's no copying that, or there's no way of prescribing that style. It's his own.
Very interesting to watch him draw, because he'll sit there, he has a picture in his mind, but we don't know what it is. And for a while I may look and say, well, what are you going to make? And all of a sudden it emerges with a few lines. It starts coming into fruition.
Endless hours he could be entertaining himself building Legos, and then once he realized what a crayon could do, he just kept drawing and drawing.
Mostly it started just from drawing, I was really into toy trains. I mean, my father gave me a whole bunch of his old Lionels, and it really just kind of started from just drawing like a rectangle and a square, and just kind of flowed naturally. I work for this group of work for ALBANY ARTISANS, and pretty much, we pretty much like re-renovate like old buildings and make them new.
There's actually, the owner wants me to make this safe enough. He's actually going to have a pre-opening party. There's usually a party at the end where you can see the building and everyone's like, wow, it's amazing and stuff like that. But nobody really gets to see what we really work with from the beginning.
You know, I kind of like it sometimes. I like working my hands. I enjoy building things. And sometimes I find a lot of good materials, objects like old wood that's like been entombed in buildings for like years, you know. It's all gone, you know, make that all new. And then you kind of lose that, like that old feel of Albany and like some of the old buildings. So that's kind of like, just if you stand back and like square it in, like that's almost kind of a piece of art in a way. Sometimes I come across like old pieces of clipping of like wallpaper. Or, you know, even just sometimes when the paint peels off, it has some kind of weird texture to it. And sometimes that stuff gets thrown out into the dumpster. I'm like, what a waste, man, you know? So I could use that like in a wall or something. Could be a stone, or even could be somebody's helmet. Draw a face. It's like, in a way, I almost kind of feel like I'm kind of an environmentalist.
You know, Greg and I have been working on my backyard here. It used to be like a place where they package milk and stuff. This is kind of like our current project. So Greg, I mean, you know, for example, this whole winter he's been like collecting little bits and pieces that he comes across when he sees something or when he's involved with a renovation project. It's like, we can use this to build in the back.
The world of Dunn that was built in the backyard. When I saw that, I literally almost bugged out. You don't just find a person that can draw on paper, but he could draw on wood, he could draw on the land.
That Picasso genetic, Basquiat genetic, the people that can work on a plate, a paper plate, and work on a mural, and work on a wall, and he might paint on your toilet. You know what I mean? Like that's what kind of artist he is. And you know, I'd suggest whoever got their toilet painted save it because, you know, down the line at some point, that could be an expensive hitter.
People love his sculpture. You know, it's interesting because he'll make a really cool piece, and very often he'll incorporate like working elements. Like he did this bird with a working alarm clock, a little clock radio into the head. So it's got like, you know, the LED lights for the face, and you can plug it in and get the audio out of it. But Greg's one of those guys, he'll just as soon leave it outside in the snow and the rain. And I'm like, Greg, we got to keep this inside, you know what I'm saying? So it keeps working and people understand how it functions. But that's just Greg, you know. He'll even take a lot of these paintings and just put them outside and then leave them outside in the weather.
So when Greg comes to Arlene's, usually he comes after work, and sometimes he'll be like completely covered in his restoration dust or whatever comes from the buildings and stuff. So he'll usually be like, give me a big smile, like, yep, filthy again.
He's totally chill for the way he makes his art. It's not like once you see him, you don't think he makes stuff like this. Then you see it and you're like, what? It's just, he's a very interesting person.
I can see just fine. I don't know if I like the way you're talking to me. Who do you think I am? You know what? I don't like the way you're looking at me either. I can see just fine. Why get out of my face? Jerk.
Part of Greg is I think he likes dressing up and putting on wigs and jumping into characters.
I can't believe it's paint spray. I mean, why brush it on when you can simply spray?
I know there's been a few nights here where we'll hang out and we'll just kind of talk about them and kind of bounce around ideas. Because eventually we'd like to do a variety show here. And I can just picture his characters kind of working into the variety show.
What? Hi, how are you today? This is Exercise of Geek Patrol. Oh man. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
How's Trevor doing?
He's good. He's holding down the shop, you know.
Okay. Wonder how he's doing.
The first time I seen Greg was probably 95, 96. I'd see him around skating, and he's an enigma wrapped into a freaking question mark. He's a man of mystery. Look at him go.
The drawing was on a wall with just a marker in a bathroom of the skate park, and for some reason I just thought it was amazing, and I took a photo of it and realized I had a really good photo of it, and brought it to a tattoo shop down in New York City. Right when I turned 18, I had never met Greg. Like, didn't even know who he was, I just knew his art. They scanned it in and put it on me, and then a couple years later, like, something just got set up the right way, and I met him and I showed him the tattoo. I was just like, I don't know if you appreciate this, but like, I got this just because I'm a huge fan of your art. It was like kind of like a little kid fanboy type thing.
A place like Albany, I know it gets knocked a lot just for being kind of the small town, little city, but it does have a warmth to it.
I do think Albany is important to Dunn because it is his current environment of direct influence. This is where he is.
Scott has, you know, opened his doors to him with open arms.
I love having Greg around. He's just a great guy, positive guy, a good influence. And he's, you know, what's most important for me, which is important for me regarding any person, he's just got a great heart.
Well done, and Scott heard it, so they plan to make me a walking stick for my birthday. But they did not know my birthday was in December, they made it in June.
He used to work across the street or the parking lot, and this was like years ago when I lived here after college, like in 2008. He like slipped me a note one day that was like, wanna have coffee sometime?
He's been doing it for a long time, so it's about time that he does deserve some recognition, some serious recognition for what he's doing, because it is such an amazing thing.
He's a hard-working artist. He really is. I mean, he doesn't really stop.
He maximizes output like I've barely ever seen in my life.
You are not able to define well done work for yourself. You have to just look at the work and appreciate it for what it is as it stands, as it's presented.
It's like the artist in residence of Albany.